Welcome to our enchanting world of tales where magic and adventure await. In the mystical land of Arabia, where the sun dips into the dunes and the stars twinkle like diamonds, our story starts with a poor woodcutter named Ali Baba. This ancient tale from the Arabian Nights collection has been passed down through generations, filled with secrets, surprises, and hidden treasures. Let's begin.
Open Sesame. Once upon a time there lived two brothers in Persia. One of the brothers was Qasim and the other was Ali Baba. Both the brothers were extremely poor and worked menial jobs. They hardly had any fortune from their father, as he had died a poor man. Fate determined otherwise when Qasim's wife became an heiress to a large fortune and a warehouse full of goods. Thus Qasim became one of the richest merchants in town. Ali Baba, on the other hand, had no such luck. He remained poor and married a woman as poor as himself. The house where they lived with their children was in a very poor condition. Ali Baba toiled all day long in the forest, cutting wood and bringing it back to the market to sell it off. One day Ali Baba was in the forest cutting wood. He cursed his fate and muttered, "Day in and day out I work like a slave, but we have no food to eat, good clothes to wear, or a decent place to live in. How long can we go on like this?" Suddenly he saw a cloud of dust coming towards him from a distance. Ali Baba could not understand what it was and quickly climbed a tall tree to save himself. "Oh God," he exclaimed, "what is this situation you have put me into? Are these demons who are coming towards me with all their might? I hope they spare my donkeys, for they are the only asset I have." As the storm of dust came closer, he saw that they were actually a team of horses that were galloping in his direction. Just before they reached the tree where Ali Baba was hiding, the horses stopped at a huge rock. Ali Baba understood that the men on the horses were robbers and climbed further up the tree to save his life. He hid himself between the thick leaves of the tree where he could hear and see the robbers. The men on the horses dismounted and stood beside them. Ali Baba observed that each horse had many heavy sacks. He was curious to know what would happen next, so he waited with bated breath while praying to God that no harm would come to him. As he watched, a tall and strong man walked towards the rock, with others paving the way for him. "He seems to be the leader," thought Ali Baba. The men tied their horses to nearby shrubs and trees. They then began to carry the sacks from the horses' backs to where their leader was standing. The leader then turned towards the rock and uttered, "Open Sesame!" And lo, a door appeared in the rock and it started to open. The leader signaled his men to go inside with the sacks and followed them. The door on the rock closed behind them. Ali Baba was tired, sitting up in the tree, and was tempted to get down. But he feared for his life and said to himself, "Let me figure out what these robbers are up to. Until then I will stay in this tree." After some time the door on the rock slowly opened again, and all the men came out. Ali Baba started to count all the robbers and found that there were 40 in all. The leader came out last and turning to the rock said, "Shut, Sesame." Every man bridled his horse and mounted it. They then rode away in the same direction that they had come from. Ali Baba was awed by what he had seen. He waited in the tree for a few more minutes. When he was sure that the robbers had not come back and there was no one around to see him in the forest, he quickly descended the tree and made his way to the rock. He stood before it and said, "Open, Sesame!" The door instantly opened, and Ali Baba was surprised to see that the cave was well lit and spacious. As soon as he stepped inside, the door shut behind him. He walked further inside and saw all sorts of valuable items stacked inside. There were silks, brocade material, and valuable carpets piled one upon the other. He also saw bags of gold, silver, and money. Ali Baba could not believe his eyes. Never before had he seen such riches, and the very sight of all these made him speechless. He hesitated for a moment and thought, "These are all stolen goods. Won't God punish me if I take these riches?" But then he consoled himself, saying, "No, God has been kind enough to show me this fortune as I was cursing my fate. I will only take what I need and will not be selfish," said Ali Baba. He then took as many bags of gold with him as his donkeys could carry. He uttered the magical word, "Open, Sesame," and came out of the cave and loaded the donkeys with the bags. After he was done, he commanded, "Shut, Sesame," to close the door on the rock. He covered the bags of gold with shrubs, leaves, and logs so that no one would suspect their contents, and made his way back home. He reached his home, tied his donkeys in the yard, and quickly closed the gates to make sure that no one saw him. He then got rid of the leaves and shrubs and, uncovering the bags, took them inside his house. His wife was seated in the house when she saw him cautiously bring the heavy sacks inside. On examining the bags, she found them to be full of gold and money. She suspected that he had resorted to robbery and wailed, "Oh, Ali! From where did you get so much gold and money? Have you resorted to robbery to provide for our family? Why have you committed this crime?" "Be quiet, my dear. Do not cry," shushed Ali Baba. "I have not committed any sin. Wait for me to tell you what happened. Let us first store these valuables inside." Saying so, Ali Baba emptied the sacks into a large trunk in his house. Join us in the next episode as we find out if Ali's wife is able to keep his secret or she lets it out. The end.
As we conclude the tale of Open Sesame, we're reminded that sometimes fortune can favor the brave and clever, and that being resourceful can lead to unexpected opportunities. By downloading the StoryWaves app from Apple or Android app stores, you can explore more enchanting stories from the Arabian Nights collection and cultures around the world. A StoryWaves subscription costs less than $1 a month, making it one of the most affordable ways to bring quality stories to your family. All new stories are available on the StoryWaves app, and the most exciting content is only available on the app, so be sure to check it out for exclusive tales. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow StoryWaves on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify for updates on upcoming content. Thank you warmly for watching, and we look forward to sharing more stories with you soon.